Hey, this is Ben Smith from Born Ready Games in Guildford, UK, and we're here today to show you a level from Strike Suit Zero, which is our upcoming space action game. So we've been really inspired by the likes of Wing Commander, Free Space, Freelancer, X-Wing vs TIE Fighter, you know, all those 90s space combat games that have kind of fallen out of fashion in recent years. And we're here to bring it back, to bring the genre kicking and screaming to a new generation. So in doing that, what we've done is we've looked at those older games and worked out exactly why they're, you know, not so relevant today. And one of the big problems that we pinpointed is a problem called jousting, which is where, as a fighter, you end up flying past each other. So you're targeting an enemy and you just keep going back and forth, and it becomes quite tedious. So what we've done to alleviate that problem is introduce a mech into the game. So you'll see here the ship is in its ship form, but in a moment we'll be able to show you the transformation process and the mech at the heart of the game. Our ship has been designed by a renowned Japanese mecha designer called Junji Ikobu, and he's worked on Steel Battalion, Infinite Space on the DS, and also the Appleseed series, which many anime fans will be familiar with. So show you here a bit of targeting. So there we go, that's the mech mode. In mech mode you can lock onto multiple enemies, as you can see by the barrage of missiles that's just been fired across the screen, which fills the flux meter at the top of the screen there. So that's the resource that dictates when and how long you can stay in mech mode for. So you'll notice that that's pretty much a full bar there. So we can transform whenever we like, and we can start doing some real damage to our enemies. So also, while you're in mech mode, you can dash left and right, forwards and backwards. You've got a full 3D area to dash about in. So the strike suit is just as much about defensive, evasive maneuvers as it is about the offensive, blowing the crap out of everything kind of stuff. So the strike suit is a really versatile craft. On top of the strike suit, which you see here, we have 3 additional craft. There's the Interceptor, which is a lightweight scout kind of craft. There's the Fighter, which is an all-round dogfighter. There's the Bomber, which is kind of self-explanatory. And there's also the strike suit here, which you see. The strike suit is fully customizable in terms of its weapon loadouts. So you've got 4 weapon slots, 2 for your machine guns and 2 for your missiles. So you can choose exactly which weapons you want to go out with and really tailor the experience based on which weapons you prefer. We've got secondary objectives in the game which tie into a much larger theme at the heart of the narrative. So it's all about saving Earth. You're one of the last remaining fighters for the UNE, the Space Force, at the heart of the game, and it's your job to make sure that Earth survives this desperate battle with the colonies of Earth. It's a civil war of sorts playing out in space. So in this section you can see at the moment we're protecting the cruiser. There's some enemy torpedoes firing, which we're trying to protect. You take out the torpedoes before they reach your cruiser. You can see the hull integrity of the cruiser in the top left of the corner there, and we want to make sure that stays as high as possible. Because at the end of the demo, when some enemy frigates turn up, the firepower is increased dramatically and things start to get a bit grisly, so you've really got to make sure you're protecting the ship well. That's when we start really starting to utilise the strike suit's main features, the multiple lock-ons, the defensive manoeuvres you can pull off. And that's really the heart of it, knowing when to switch in, when to switch out, when to use your flux, when to save it for. And it's a lot more strategic. We're bringing an element of strategy to the dogfight, which perhaps hasn't been apparent in the genre before. So we've got a nice full flux bar here, which will really start to show off in a moment when the enemy frigates get involved in things. So let's try and take out a few more of these fighters to clear some space. So you can see here an example of the dashing. The strike suit is highly manoeuvrable, can get out of harm's way pretty quickly. Let's give you a little bit of additional information. There's 13 missions in the game, each lasting for about 15 to 20 minutes. But replayability is a big thing for us here. We want people to unlock new weapons, get new upgrades, and go back and complete secondary objectives that they wouldn't have been able to complete the first time around. So there's a real reason to go back to levels and to try out different strategies, try out different weapons, and approach things in a new way. And that's really at the heart of it. 13 missions, but you're going to go back and you're going to do those levels a few times, and score's a big part of it as well. We want players to be going back and getting the best scores possible. We do want the player to feel like they're part of something big, something bigger than themselves. It's all about epic fleet battles. You're not just one guy taking on the world. You're part of a big fleet. You're part of the UNE, and it's you and a load of allies. We want the player to feel like they're part of something big. So here we want to get this kill on the frigate to get the biggest score, but the cruiser could do the job for us. I think the cruiser might have got the last shot in there, but we'll see at the end when we get the score breakdown. which is a big part of it. We want players to be able to approach the game in a different way, you know, and kill different enemies and get the biggest score possible, which in turn unlocks different weapons and different upgrades. So we survived the level, which is obviously a good thing, and here's our score breakdown. So 8 minutes 44, it's not a bad time. Anything under 10 gets you a good multiplier, so we've got a time bonus there, which you'll see. So we've hit the bronze, which is good. All these different enemy types that we've killed rack up different points and build towards the next score level. Obviously in the full game, which score you get, which medal you get, dictates which weapons and upgrades you'll unlock. So there's always that reason to go back and get a better score. Looks like we're going to be just shy of a silver this time, but you know, we've got guys that can do this in platinum pretty easily now, but that's a bronze on the table there, which isn't bad. It's still good. It's still a good score. So that's it. That's Strike Suit Zero. We're launching this fall on PC, on Steam and Origin, and the other digital distributors will follow. And then we'll be launching on the consoles in early 2013. That's it from me. Thanks for watching.